you ready to discover who you came here to be? Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. Human Design is a system and a tool that is here to empower you and show you your greatest potential. Come learn with us and discover who you really are. Hi there, Crystal here. I want to share with you a few potential opportunities before we dive into this week's episode. Leah and I have made it our mission to not only bring you energy updates, interesting guests, and education on here, but we also have a few different ways to connect and work with us outside of the podcast. Now, the first opportunity is completely free, and if you have been struggling with understanding your strategy and authority, I highly recommend picking up our free guide on tips and tricks to honoring your strategy and authority. And you can get that in our show notes down below to better help you align to your unique guidance system. Next, if you have been struggling with the key terms in human design, if you don't understand how to read your body graph, Lee and I have come up with graphics and images that provide easy ways to understand the key terms so you can begin to unravel your true self. And that's exactly what this manual is called, your user manual to your true self, to help you speak the language of human design in no time. Our next offer is great if you've been loving our program energy updates because we put together a 2022 yearly forecast through the lens of human design, astrology, and tarot. Super helpful to have a look back on this year and also what's to come and how we can be supported by the energy of what's ahead. Now, our last offer has a few different options, so listen up. We've been telling you for a long time that we were building a subscription service on the 4 transformations, and the wait is over. The doorway is now open to your true self, and you can get for 6 full months every single one of our variables classes. So all of the colors for determination, every single tone for cognition, and all of the colors for environment, view, and motivation. All of these classes were put together with source material from Ra Uru, as well as lived experience from people who actually have these aspects in their design. And for a very low price of $39.99 a month, that is well over the value of $600. If you've bought all of our bundles, it would be well over that price. And you also get a bonus that is our support group with this subscription service. So you not only get the classes, but you also get a community of people to help you along the way through your deconditioning process that include a community page to post and 2 group Zoom calls a month. If you're just looking for support, you can also get that outside of the doorway, just the support for only $19.99 a month. And if you want one of our classes on the variables, and you're not ready to enter the doorway or our support group, you can pick up your a la carte class on determination, cognition, or environments down below. View and motivation are an exclusive only for the doorway. Now, if you're looking for one-on-one attention and would like to dive into your human design chart, feel free to connect with me on either Instagram or book a reading on my website, which you can find down below in the show notes. Or if you would like a tarot reading from Leah, you can also connect with her on Instagram and also her website down below. We are so excited for everyone to discover their uniqueness, their differentiation, and everything I have mentioned you can find again in the show notes down below. We hope you enjoy this next episode. Hello, and welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. I was trying to get Leah to do it again, and she actually did do it, but it was not at the right time. And then when I told her to introduce, then she said no. Then she went back in her little hermit shell.
I got shy for a minute.
She said that I do it regularly, that we have to stick to my routine because I have the 5:15 channel. Everyone operates on my timeline. And if you don't, you're out of here. No, I'm just kidding.
See you later.
I do control the rhythm.
I just feel like we do the same thing. So like we might as well just stick to the
routine. Well, you do
Because
have
if
the
we
5,
don't, then I know. It's true.
so it is appropriate for you to say that. It's
Yeah,
correct.
that's correct.
It is correct.
I think one of my girls, who has it? I think Olivia has one of the gates, and Corinna doesn't have any of it, the 5 or the 15. And she is just like chaos all over the place. There's no, she can't even like remember to do the same thing. Like we go to do
Oh.
bedtime, and she has no routine for bedtime. It's always different every single time. And the other three of us are like, you got to do it this way. Like,
But
brush
you
your
all
teeth.
have at least one of them, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Except for her. You'd think that, hmm, I wonder how she'll be conditioned by that then. She's also a third line, right? Now she's operating in a six. What is she, 6'3"?
Right.
3'6".
S- no, I don't even remember. Yeah, one of those.
Well, but right now she's a 3'3".
6'2". She's a 2.
Oh, oh, I thought she was a 3.
No, she's a
Well, she's a
six
3
three.
right now. She's a 3-2.
Yeah, 6.
3-2.
So, I mean, she kind of resists that at this point, but she could definitely be conditioned by all of us to try and find some sort of routine. Yeah.
Curious to
So,
see how
we
that goes.
do
I mean,
like sporadic stuff, but that
that's
kind
not
of
a
thing,
bad
like bedtime
conditioning
is.
though,
No, I
to
know. And
develop
like
routines.
it helps. And for her, like bedtime, because she's a projector and an emotional, she does need a lot of time to kind of like settle down from the day. So,
Yeah.
like, we try and keep that routine for her because that does help her settle and it helps her, to do all the things. But sometimes when she's resisting, it's like not even worth it. It's like, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever you want
Gotta
to do,
just
whatever
let
gets
her
you to bed.
fight it out. Does she have undefined root?
She's defined.
She is defined.
Yeah,
What's
she's
what
the
is
only
that?
defined root in the house.
But she has a what about what's going on in her spleen?
She's got the 3254, and then she's got
Oh,
the 57.
Otis also has the 3254.
Yeah.
Oh, that pressure, man.
Yeah.
It's
Sometimes I feel that I think with her, like she definitely,
well,
for
we do end up on their timeline a lot because they're kind of navigating that material world, that part of it. And Otis also has the 515 channel on top of that. So it's like, he's like, look, bitch, I'm telling you right now that this is what we are doing. And my 515's like, listen, little one, I'm telling you right now that this is what we are doing. And so that then we also create the channel of struggle together. So that's also fun to witness, is the back and forth. I actually had someone tell me, I think it was last week or the week before, you're doing great. She like, oh, it was, I went to Milo's school for this, like eat with your child. And then we're going to get you to go into the bookstore so you can buy all of our books to support our school, that kind of thing. So in the bookstore, Otis, and he's also a 1-3. And for those of you that are listening, he's a 1-3 sacral generator. I like to refer to him as sweet and sour, and also a daydream that is wrapped in a nightmare. That is the best way to describe him, and it's the truth. It really is. Like, and whatever. So he's running around the entire bookstore like a maniac, knocking shit over. I'm telling Milo, stay in the line. I'm going to get your brother. And so Milo, the little manifester that like wants to, like, he wants to at this point follow direction at this age. He does. He actually enjoys, he's also innocence motivation. So he does enjoy just 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 like being and like almost like watching what is necessary at the time. He's also survival view. Um But so I'm like, stay in the line. I'm going to get your brother. I'm like running around trying to get him, and he's laughing. And Otis also likes to be in trouble. Like he's one of those people. I'm like, I wonder how this is going to go as we get older here. But he really enjoys it. He likes getting in trouble. He likes doing the wrong thing, when he knows it's purposefully wrong. And so one of the mothers that was in the line looked at me, and this is when you know that like you look like the hottest mess right now when when somebody says to you, excuse me, you're doing great. I'm like, I know. And I said, I know I'm not. I'm like, but thank you for supporting me
Trying really hard.
in this destruction that you're witnessing unravel before your eyes.
Yeah,
That's
and like being in a space that's like fun and new for him, I'm sure it was just
Oh
like
yeah,
he
one
was
three. He
just
wants to run.
chasing.
Yeah, he wants to go explore. He's also a Sagittarius moon, so he's on the move all the time. This kid is always on the move.
Yeah.
It's just, it's just his nature. And so I like to have spaces where I can bring him to them, not there, but other spaces like a playground or outside, so he can go and explore. We also like to go on trails. That's one of the reasons why we moved to North Carolina, is because there's so many beautiful trails here. So I'm so excited when he does get older, especially because he is a Sagittarius moon. I'm a Sagittarius sun, and he's mountains, both boys mountains. I have this vision that I'm gonna raise these boys going on these trails and hiking. I pray to whoever is out there that my child does not want to do like free climbing with like, because
Oh my
that I
gosh.
can't. He's also defined, but I feel like with his defined route, passive mountains, so they actually literally need to be higher up. Um, and with his Sagittarius moon, I'm like, is this a recipe for free climbing? Because
Just
I hope not. I really do. But he is the best climber I've ever seen out of any child. He's been climbing since basically he could walk, which was 9 months old. And so I'm just like, please don't
just
be right
don't let
about
him
this.
don't watch that what's that The Alpinist on Netflix or like 14 Peaks. Those are all
I
about
think I've
guys who free
seen, yeah.
climb.
No, thank
Don't plant
you.
don't plant the seed.
But
Just
it's just, it'll be a little hard, like going on trails. And if we do some harder ones, and he does, I mean, he will
yeah.
eventually be aware of this potential. Hopefully he
Yeah.
doesn't want to do it. That's all I'm hoping. Or at least wear a harness. I don't know. Can you
Yeah.
wear a harness? But even then, I'm like, just he does have a defined spleen, which I feel like is helpful with him knowing safety. He actually
Yeah.
does know, he'll know that like what is safe and not safe. I can tell that he can do that. Milo, it's inconsistent. He's on defined spleen. So it really depends. I wonder how he'll be conditioned by all of us. We all have defined spleens except for him.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like if he really tapped into that survival mode of his, I mean, survival view, not survival mode, excuse me, not trying to do not go into
Don't
survival
go into
mode.
survival mode.
Um, Survival view. I wonder how, if he really was able to see through that lens clearly, consistently at least, because we will transfer. Like I want people to know that just because you end up living your life in your correctness, and you're living your design, and you're in your correct view and motivation, blah 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 blah, you will still transfer. You have to see the other
Always.
side. You have
Yeah.
to. You just have to.
It's so helpful to know when you're doing the incorrect
But
basically.
and to know
And
why
lessons.
too. Yeah, like
And
what's
how to
coming up for
hop
me
out
right
of it.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, we have a ginormous announcement.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
wait, did we announce it last week? No.
We
This is the
only
first
sat
week we'll announce it.
this is the week that it's actually out. Yes, last week we were like, it's
Yay.
probably coming out, guys. So if you didn't already know, if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, you do not follow us over on Instagram. I don't know why. First of all, what are you doing? Like, Go
Yeah,
do all those
go
things,
do that.
because first of all, those things is where like a lot of like the meat and potatoes is at. Like this is like you're getting like fun, you're getting direction obviously through the transits, you're getting education and interviews and all that. But like where you can actually learn how to integrate this information is going to be through our newsletter, when we give you a lot of like details on other parts of human design and astrology. And like we just put out a crash course on view and motivation. If you would like to pick that up, we'll drop that in the description down below if you guys want that. A little crash course on view and motivation if you don't know much about it. And then also, where was I going with this? Oh, just to
Our
go
announcement.
yeah, just go follow us in all the places. But back to our announcement. Okay, I feel like Leah wants to do it, so I'm gonna let her do
Dee, 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 dee. The doorway is open.
it.
Was that good? That was a
Yeah.
very projector way of announcing that.
It's here. I'm like,
The doorway
it's
is here.
here.
Whee!
Everyone's like, earmuffs. Yeah, the doorway's open, and if you're like, what is the doorway? Let's tell you. If you're new here, welcome. Hi, how are you? My name's Crystal,
My name is Leah.
and we do human design, astrology, and tarot on here, and we do a lot of other things as well. But that's the gist of what this place is about. And so we have developed a subscription service, which is also a membership. For 6 months, you can join us in the doorway. And this is an ongoing subscription service as of right now. I want to preface right now, we have no idea how we want this to completely play out. So right now we have the doors just open. They're open, and we'll see when we want to close them at some point. We have a number in mind of where we think we'll want to close them for a while, and then potentially reopen them in a new way. So this might be a potential that you're getting in on the ground floor, the ground level. It's only $39.99 to get every single one of our variable classes for minimum of 6 months. You can subscribe again if the doors are still open when your subscription service is up. I do want to let you know that if that's you're like
It's $39.99 a month.
a month, yes,
Per month for 6 months.
consecutively. You get it for 6 months. So you're going to get all of the determinations. So every single color with that, all of the cognitions, all of their tones, every environment, every view, and every motivation. You'll get all of those colors as well. And when I say colors, I mean like example for environment. We have caves, we have markets, we have kitchens, we have mountains, we have valleys, and we have shores. So you would get every single one of those classes. So all the 6 colors and tones that come with each one of the classes, you will be able to have access to. It's embedded into our website, just so everybody knows, because some people are like, am I able to, people that are in the doorway now asked, I want to tell people this, they asked if they could get like emailed the PDFs or whatever, because we do have PDFs that are attached to the audio. So it's an audio and a PDF that you get for each class. And they are view only and audio listen only. What is that? What is the proper
Yeah, listen.
way to
Like you can't download them and keep them forever.
Yeah, no, yeah. That the whole point of this is that you're just getting access to it in the time frame that you have the subscription service. If you do want something permanently, though, you could buy our a la carte classes on determination, cognition, and environment, and you can pick that up permanently for life. The reason why that it's at such a low price point, we believe this is a pretty low price point, is because it's embedded in the system, and you're not going to be able to take it unless you are an interesting person. I don't. And please do not take our stuff. We've already had that happen before. Anyways,
We won't even go there.
yeah, we're not going there. But what was I saying?
So
Go
then,
ahead.
along with all of the classes that you get in the doorway, you also get access to our human design and support community.
Hmm.
And the community page is a private community page. It's sort of like a Facebook group, except for it's on our website. And you log in and you have access to all of our previous recorded Zooms. You have access to all the conversations that we've ever had with our support group, depending on when you come into the group. You can ask questions, you can talk about your chart, you can talk about any integration things that you have going on. And we also have 2 Zoom calls a month, which they're an hour long ish. And so you get 2 of those a month, and those are recorded and they log in. We put them right into the support group if you miss it.
Yeah, you can all, and if you do miss it, you do have an opportunity to still get your questions
Yeah.
answered during that call. So obviously not everyone's going to be able to make every single call, but we do try to make sure that you're still a part of it. So you can submit questions, and even if you are a part of it, we do ask a lot of times just to submit questions before, so we know what the topic's going to be about, and usually we pick a topic. Mostly the last ones were related to the variables since everybody had purchased those classes during that time. And so we're going to pick different topics. We'll go through different places in our chart. We also do weekly contemplation questions on our community page that I post a thread for, and everybody can come in and say, like, how did the transit show up for you that week through the sun and the earth? So how we kind of explain things briefly to you on here, we go in depth. In depth. We're like underneath the surface. My line one's digging up all the little gems, and then Leah's taking them with her projectorness and her little markets, and she's organizing them. And that's basically how we work.
Yeah.
I dig, and then Leah organizes.
It's so funny that you say that because, on a different note altogether, Olivia, my manifesting generator, will dig, and because she's a 5/1, she'll find all of these different things, and then Corinna, my projector, will come along and organize. She'll go, "Let's organize these things." I'm like, "It's playing out right in front of my face. Yes, let's
It
organize. I'm with you, girl."
it really, but that is, I first of all, I love that you just said that, because that is literally the most correct way that I feel like if we were all working together in that, like, in our actual designs, if we all actually lived that way, that would be what it looked like. And
Yeah.
that's why it does look like that for us, because we are
Right.
operating according to our designs. And I know that first, okay, let's talk about this. Actually, I know we've discussed parts of this in the past, but and like people are very interested in our story for some reason. I'm always like, what's that about? But I wonder if it's because people do have partnerships that they either business partnerships, relationships in whatever capacity, and they're like, those girls, they seem to be doing something right. And it's because we are doing something right. It's not, you're not just visually seeing it, and underneath behind the scenes we're actually like yelling at each
Yeah.
other or anything like that. First of all, I mean, obviously you can tell Leah's not a yeller, or she secretly is, and you just don't.
No, I'm really not. I feel very not abrasive toward anything, I guess.
Yeah, I'm probably the
My grit
abrasive
level is
one.
very low.
I'm like, oh, it's fire. And I'm like raging all the time. My Aries moon is always raging. And I'm like
And I just
ready.
go, shh.
She's Leah's the fire extinguisher.
But that's not why we work well together.
No. So when I first came online, I feel like I keep telling my story a lot lately. But when I first came online, I had a vision and a dream to like really share this material because I'm desire motivation. And I knew that at some point I was going to want to develop some sort of course or class with this, because I know that that's a big way to make an impact, because obviously doing personal readings, you can only do so many of those a day or a week or whatever. And so as I progressed, like probably about 6 months in to when I first came online and started journey through human design, um, I wanted to like call in someone that was going to help organize me, because if you guys haven't noticed, I got a lot of ideas. If you guys need an idea, you can hire me and I will literally, I can organize you in that capacity with how to be more creative. I'm really good at that. I'm also kitchen's environment. Between my open head, my first line, and kitchen's environment, it's like I can't help myself. So I was like, you know what? Here comes my generator. Okay. So I'm like, idea. Okay. You get generators. It starts out as a seed, right? It starts out as this like ground level idea that you have being like planted in your mind. That's like, I want to create a class. And I knew that I was not going to be able to do it on my own because I cannot organize my thoughts very well a lot of times, especially in that capacity, because I had never created a class before. And so, and I actually say this to a lot of my generator clients. I say, start out with the just this phrase of wouldn't it be nice? Just wouldn't it be nice? So I said to myself, wouldn't it be nice if I had someone that had a defined head and ajna? I knew what I needed. I said this to I knew what I needed. I was like, if I had someone that was a defined head and ajna, fourth line. I wanted a fourth line. I'm like, I was very,
Very specific.
I
It's
was
fine. You
very,
have to be.
I was, so I am strategic.
Yep.
So I need to be specific. Um, so I said, okay, I want a fourth line, defined head and ajna. I need someone to organize my thoughts. I need someone to catch them. I just need who has a net. Somebody who has a net. I don't have mine. It just like swoop, just seeps right through. Um, and then I was like, and I want a projector. I specifically wanted a projector because I feel like projectors, they really understand that generator aura because they're like amplifying it, right? They're amplifying the sacral. So it's like if you could get the right projector that connects to a lot of your splits or your hanging gates, um, just there's so much magic that could happen because the projector, it's that absorbing energy. It's absorbing the other person's aura. It really understands what they need, and your view is wanting. So it's you do actually understand what I need. You know
Yeah.
what I need. I hardly have to tell you. Like very rarely am I like, Leah, that like there was one time I think with the last two classes that we just finished creating, I was like, that graphic, no. That was one time. One one time, this whole time that we've done all of these
Yeah.
classes, I said once, no, that's not the right one. I don't like that. Um, but everything else, Leah does exactly what's in my head. It's just she puts it right out there. I don't have to even I don't I knew that, and I don't want to have to check your work. And I always say this to you. I'm like, I don't like having to check your work. I know that I'm constantly crossing a lot of things out. And I'm glad that you take zero offense to that, because I tell you, if somebody was slashing out all my stuff,
Well, I mean, I did see it and I was just like, man, that's a lot of things. But then I'm also like, I knew that you were going to go through stuff and just change things. Like, I don't take it in a way that's like red lines, like I'm getting an F and I'm failing at a
yeah,
class. It was
no,
just like, this needs to change, that needs to change. I'm like, cool, like I'll change it. And, it's hard not to go back to that mindset for a second, but I knew that it wasn't like in a bad way. You weren't like, your work is shit. You were
no,
just like, this just has to be reworded, or here's
yeah,
a new way to say that. And then you would, you corrected yourself. Like there were just other
yeah,
things, and that's totally fine. It was, and I remember I think when we were first talking, maybe when I got your phone number and we were talking, and you were like, I'm trying to make this course on Teachable. And you're like, and I was like, how's that going? You're like, yeah, it's not going. It's not going at all. And you're like, this is going to take me forever. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't know. And you were like helping me with like my tarot stuff and like starting with human design. So I think we were both at a place where like we knew that there was that like something could happen, but we
yeah.
just
I
weren't
saw
at
it
the
for a
spot
while.
where, yeah.
And then there was and then that one point when you said to me, because you knew that I don't really enjoy making graphics or anything, like you would think I would, because I am kitchen's environment and I like to draw and paint, like but for whatever reason, when it comes to technology in this, it's just not, I don't get the joy out of it and the pleasure,
Yeah.
and I see that you do. You really do, and that's the markets though. I feel
Yeah.
like that's the markets, the defined head and ajna. Like you really like just going in there and just piecing things, like, what to actually select, where each thing needs to go. I remember when we were putting out our environments class, I made a post about all the environments, and a projector came in on and a comment, and I thought this was one of the funniest comments, and it was about markets. And she's like, I don't see how I'm a good organizer, and because it was something about along those lines. And I was like, well, if you think about it, you're selective. Like, if you think of an actual, like, I feel like a green market or just a grocery store is a good example of what a market looks like, because you go to each stand, right? It has like all the apples there. It has everything's arranged in a certain way, right? There's a thing about arrangement with you guys. You just see it. It's just there. You can't, whenever I want that, I want to go to a markets person. I know it's going to happen. I don't have to think about it. And so then, you know what they said to me? They're like, oh, I do flower arrangements. I was like,
That's it. That's it right there.
I was like, and you didn't see that? And she's like,
Yeah.
now she's like, a whole new layer was just opened up for me right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I'm like, exactly.
That's
I'm
it.
like, when you really get to see like these skills you have, because I see the variables as almost like skill sets. It's like little signposts that are saying this is the skill set that works for you, right? This is something that like is ingrained in you, and this is what will actually work. And then over here, this is where you're going to meet resistance. And resistance is not bad. I like to tell, and I say that throughout our entire class, like, we really go back and forth between your true self and your not self with your distraction. We really go back and forth and what that looks like and how to actually make the distraction into a gift, like into your teacher, and how to like flip the fucking script so that you can come back into alignment. Like, what are the, okay, so I see that I'm out of alignment, so what are then the steps to come back into alignment? And that's basically what we're doing throughout all of the classes, is we're just bringing you back into alignment, and we're showing you what the distraction is for you, how is that going to show up. And then what it actually does is it starts making you, for yourself, contemplate the way that's showing up in your real life. How is this showing up in my real life? Because you want to be able to integrate it, right? So that's the beauty of the doorway, is that after you go through these classes, then you come into our support group and you get to ask your questions, you get them answered, you get to, or you just get to have a conversation about them. Be like, how has this shown up for you in the past? Can you remember back when you were a kid and you were probably using it more correct than you are now?
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, how I knew the variables were accurate was when I found out about determination. When I found out I was calm determination, which the founder of Human Design, Raru, who is also um, calm, or was calm. He is passed now, so I guess I should use past tense. So he was calm, and he talked about how he had to eat alone, and I was like, everything in my life just made sense, because I had every vision of when I was a kid and I used to take my food to my room, and I would want to eat alone in my room with nobody there, and how I could never, I can't fully eat correctly around other people. Like, I feel restriction in my body when I'm eating with other people. And so I was like, huh, there's something to this. I need
Yeah.
more information now. And so then I went through all the rest of them, and I was like, oh, I found out I was kitchen's environment, and that my transferred environment was shores. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been living in the wrong environment my entire life. And and I realized, and this is, I actually do a whole embodiment um integration with you in the environments class, with your transferred environment and your true environment. I learned that I used to go sit down by the water when I was going through like some hard stuff. I would just go to the water, I would sit there and I would cry, and it would help me release all of my not selfness. I could go, then I could like let my mind run and release. And then I could pick myself back up. And a lot of times I would go and then like create something after that because I'm kitchen's environment. So then
Yeah,
I
it's
would go,
like you
okay,
release the block or
yeah,
whatever it was. You just let it out.
right. So that's we walk you through a lot of stuff in all the classes, and then having the support group is really great. And welcome to all the new members. There's so
Yeah.
many of you now, and we're so excited to have you. We've been meeting
So
you
excited.
in on the community page. You've been introducing yourself, so we're very very happy to have you if you're listening to this right now. And for all of you that are like, you know what, I think I'm interested, just go ahead right now, pause this video, go down into the description box, either pick up our quick crash course on view and motivation if you want to get a little bit more information if you're like a first line or something and you need a little more information, okay? um or just go ahead and just subscribe. It's you This is basically for 6 months you're getting the price of one reading.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what you're
It,
doing if you're not going to join.
it's crazy. It's such a good, and that's why it's not why we put it at a reasonable price, but we feel like it's at a price where it is affordable, and the amount
Mhm.
of stuff that you get with it and the amount of support, and this could be just the kickstart for you. It could just be the very beginning of, your journey, or you could be, a reader and you want to join us just so that you can get more support from other people because you need it yourself. Like we all need support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It
there
doesn't
are a
it
bunch
doesn't
of human
matter what
design
spot in your
people
life.
that have joined us,
Yeah.
and some others
All
that
over
are
the
like,
world.
yeah, that I'm thinking about it. So yeah, we whether you are using human design in your business or you want to use it in your life, maybe your family, maybe your entire family is a different variable than you.
Yeah. It's very
For all of them, they you know is it that's why we wanted the support group, is so that we have all of the types, all of the differentiation in there to actually see how can I work with you. What's going on with you? What's going on your side? What's it like to be a projector? What's it like to be a generator? Like, we're going to have real conversations in this group, mixing all of the aura types together so that you could actually learn how to interact with each other. We are not respecting each other right now. We are just not. Like, let's be fucking real. We never have. We never have. And I know that if we could learn how to understand the other, that we could truly be able to work in a society with actual love. And I don't know, maybe my vessel of love is coming out here, but like in my desire motivation, but I see the way we could actually work together. So if you're interested. And also, if you have questions, we've had people that have asked us questions and have
yeah.
DM'd us. Feel free to DM us. We're open books.
Yep.
We're friendly. I
Totally
mean,
friendly.
Leah's probably the friendlier one.
you you can either DM us or I think our email is in the description too. I put that in there
Yeah, you can.
if you want to
Yeah,
email
you can
us.
DM. We have a new page, if you didn't know, on Instagram called
Yep.
Human Design Astro Club. Wait, is that what
You
it's
got it.
called? I got
Yep.
it right this time. One of these days, I'm gonna just nail it and know that I nailed it. I do. My sense is uncertainty, so I never know if I'm correct. I'm also a third line, so I'm like, was that right?
Got it.
Somebody tell me. So, oh, right before we jump in, briefly, how was your new moon? Because I know that you wanted to talk about it the last episode.
Oh, I know. I think it was good. I feel like I had a really busy weekend that weekend, so like
It
I was
was.
kind of distracted with that, but it was all like meant to be. And now I feel like I picked up like things got busier. I don't think they got any less busy than they did before. I got some new jobs for my cleaning business. We opened up the doorway, so we
Mhm.
have like a lot of financial abundance
Oh,
happening,
there's a
and
lot
that
of
was
financial abundance
something that I
happening.
was calling for. Yeah,
Yeah, which is actually, I mean, part of our path, because the new moon was connected to our north node, right? That was
yeah,
connect, and so, and Taurus is. is all about, money. That's if any of the signs were about money, it's Taurus. And I'm not saying that that's what we're here for. We're here to try to get all the monies. And I said that, yes, I said that on purpose, the monies. I'm not here to get all of the monies, but I am here to make a lot of money. And I want to make a lot of money. And the reason why I want to make a lot of money is so that I can go fill up other people's cups.
Exactly.
I want to be able to put it back out there. That's the whole point. The thing is that we haven't realized the real opportunity of sharing that we have in this material world, and we hoard our money, right? A lot of us, and think that it's going to be taken from us. But I feel like when you do stuff like that, that's what's actually keeping you in lack. Even for people that are super wealthy, that they have the lack mindset, and so then they end up having lack in other areas of their life, even if it's not finances.
Yeah.
But my dream, I'm going to tell you guys my dream right now, okay? Listen, who's going to help me create this? Where are my manifestors at? Okay, listen. Here's my dream. My dream is to get a lot of the monies. And then I feel like Leah's like laughing at me when I say it. My dream is to get a lot of the monies, and then I'm going to take it, and I want to open up a retreat center. That is my dream. I want to be able to have a retreat center that people can come to and actually embrace who they are, have different either workshops happening, different healers, different guides, like a whole mixing pot, very kitchens, and also people that can't afford it. I want to be able to give people an opportunity that they don't have the finances to get the help that they need or to get the support that they need. And I want to be able to have opportunities to bring in those types of people so they can actually begin to embrace who they are. So maybe they can get out of the situation that they're in. And that's my dream. Who's going to finance me?
I love that.
Any millionaires listening to this?
Let's go in on it together.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. But that is my dream. I really want a place where people can gather, learn, experience, alchemize their energy, and grow. So
it's beautiful.
Leah, you're gonna be a part of that too. I just want to let you know. You're in that picture. You're not separate from it. You're not outside of it.
I wish we were closer so we could actually like do something like all the time, so that it wouldn't have to be like I have to come down or whatever.
I know. But if we did have a retreat center, then it would be a place to go to every time.
We could have a private jet and I could just fly down whenever I wanted.
Yeah, see, these are, again, aspirations. Just keep that in your back pocket. How much is a jet?
Oh, it's not much.
Just a good $1 million.
Yeah, it's chill. Just depends on how many times you want to use it and who. I mean, it could be like, a few $1,000s a flight. It's hard to say. But you won't have to fly with anyone else, and you can leave whenever you want.
I do like that.
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice. All right. Goals.
And we could podcast together.
I do have another dream that we have a space it could be at the retreat center too. Maybe it's just all going to end up there, that we have a space that we do have a recording studio at.
That would be nice.
That even if we don't have our own jet, we're financially stable enough to fly often to meet at this recording studio.
Yeah, I love it. With like the fancy equipment and like, the really fun headsets.
Somebody actually videoing us.
Someone else does all of that work for us.
Yeah, somebody that edits. Puts in all the fun stuff. Yeah. So these are our goals and aspirations. And I'd say right now, during this in-between phase that we're in right now, we're in between the new moon right now and the full moon, right? We're kind of in the void. I mean, we entered the void during the new moon, right? So we're kind of in the middle of it. And it's almost like shoot for the fucking stars right now, guys. What are your craziest dreams? Leah wants to own a jet, okay?
There we
Just
go.
what do you want? Just what do you want? And let it just surrender to it at the moment. I mean, if you're a manifestor, maybe you could make something big happen. I'm not saying that the other types can't. Please, nobody think that I'm just saying only manifestors can manifest or create. That's not true.
Yeah.
Just the thing is, let's just be realistic here, is that they just make things happen a little faster. That's it. Just things tend to happen a little faster for them when they're aligned. But that doesn't mean that things can't necessarily happen fast for you. It just really depends on a lot of factors.
Yeah.
A lot of factors. But the biggest one to make something happen is your beliefs. That's all it is. All it takes to consciously create in this world is believing in yourself to the fullest. Like, even that's why there's only neutrality in the world. There's no good or bad. That's why a lot of quote unquote, where people would, I'm sorry, excuse me, call somebody a bad person. I put that in air quotes, just because that's the way we live in a binary world, right? Good, bad, whatever. So someone that's a bad person that's really wealthy, and if you think like, oh, why don't they have karma where they have nothing or something? Like, why is life giving them everything? And it's because they believe in themselves. They believe in themselves. They also might have a lot of really nice aspects in relation to money. They could have also been born into money. So there's a lot of factors as to how that happens. But the biggest way to be successful for yourself is believing in yourself. And that's the hardest thing to do. If it was easy to just believe in yourself, then we would all be living very differently.
Yeah.
But that it really is it. And I feel like understanding the transits, understanding your design is what's going to give you almost that support to get there when it's correct for you. You can actually be able to see it,
Yeah.
So Leah's like, hurry it up. Let's get on the roll here. So I'll stop talking.
I get so excited to hear what you have to say about the transit. So I'm like, when are we going to talk about it? Because I like to hear it.
Projector's always like, my sacral can only go for so long, and I also have a family. So anyways, I'm gonna just jump in. We're gonna dive in. I did kind of write a lot, so I'd say get out a pen and a piece of paper right now as I go through this. So we have a new focus that is actually quite interesting, and it's related to the eclipse that is gearing us up for the full moon, which is the following week. So the nodes are in the sun and earth this week. I find that to be really interesting as it's leading us towards the full moon. So our focus is on the north node and is really going to be highlighting our forward moving direction and asking us, what do we know? What do we know about the direction we are headed in? Can you see where you are going right now? Is the path that you are looking at clear? Are you properly communicating your unique insights with others? Do people see you clearly at this moment? I know that was a lot of questions I just asked you, but this is going to be coming up a lot throughout the week for yourself. So maybe write this down, because Mercury retrograde is coming. Actually, when we put this out, it actually will today, or if you're listening to this in the future, but the day that we put this out is during Mercury retrograde. So if it didn't work, we apologize. We already had to go through that last week for for our podcast where it didn't play for like a whole day. So hopefully this one is a little easier to get out there. So hopefully you guys get it on Monday night, actually. Monday night. So right before. We'll see. We'll see when it comes out. So again, maybe write these questions down to noodle on and see what gems might come up for you. Okay. So we're being grounded in our unique insights and surrendering to almost what's coming through for you right now. Like what are you channeling at during this week that you can actually see and that you can actually begin to embody, you can actually begin to work with, because whatever's happening in the earth, when I say you're being grounded in, this is something that you can actually materialize. Okay. So this is really about thinking about how can you create a resolution? Like how can your mind help you create a resolution and maybe surrender to something as we head towards the full moon, because the full moon is really about release, right? And completion. So what are you surrendering to right now that you're going to want to let go of during the full moon? Okay. So that's kind of what we're being grounded in. And so Tuesday is kind of a big day. This is a big day. Okay. Because there's two things happening on Tuesday. Let me get comfortable here so I can get right into it. Okay. So Tuesday, we have not only Mercury going retrograde, okay, but we also have Jupiter entering Aries, which is kind of a big deal because anytime, first of all, Jupiter is huge, right? And it's expanding and it's about abundance and luck and all of that stuff. And when Aries comes in, Aries is like, let's fucking move. Like Aries is like the manifester of astrology. That's what I look at it as. It's the first in line, right? It's the beginning. I think anybody that has Aries in their chart, wherever you have Aries in your chart, that is really where you can consciously create. That is really where you can manifest. So right now it's interesting. It's like we're getting this opportunity with Jupiter and Aries, but then we're going to be kind of getting a little bit of a pause at the same time with Mercury retrograde, right? So let's talk about that. So like I said, this is an interesting for me because when I was putting together our year forecast, I realized that this energy was coming in on a 12-year anniversary of when I almost died. And I got, so if you didn't know, I got hit by a car on my bike on May 10th, 2010. So we're actually all ending, not just for myself, we're all ending a 12-year cycle on this day, on May 10th. So think of where you were. So let me say what I want. Okay, let me start at the beginning. So there will be a sense of completion and expansion here, but also a reflection with Mercury retrograde. So offering you a chance to look back on where you were in 2010. Okay, so I want you to think right now, where was I in 2010? May of 2010, where were you? What was your life like? Allow this day to be the first day of reflection that will basically take you through the rest of the retrograde cycle. So before we get to the Mercury retrograde, let's first discuss Jupiter entering into Aries. So what happened to you during 2010 and also 2011? Expanding, this is about expanding beginnings. There's a lot of leadership energy and action happening here. That's a huge potential for you. This is a time to respond to your inner guidance system, a great time to tap into your authority and really do some expansive conscious creating, right? Again, Jupiter is about luck, abundance, prosperity, and it almost consumes anything that it takes on. This could also go to the opposite direction. Bad luck could happen or appear to be, or where it's like, it really depends on one, how this hits your chart, number one. And then also, where are you at mentally, emotionally, right? So you want to factor all these things in. So this is going to be about expansion of who you are. This is the theme of this cycle with Jupiter and Aries is going to be about expansion of who you are. And it's asking you to harness your inner warrior. Okay. So even though there's going to be a reflection happening, also starting on this day, you're getting an opportunity. They're both opportunities, but this one might appear a little bit lighter potentially. So also there's going to be a potential expansion for conflict. Again, go both ways, right? It's either going to be an expansion of abundance and prosperity and like just beauty and like a lot of great things happening. But there's also, again, if it's going to hit you in a different way, hit your chart in a different way, also depending on what's going on with you internally, it could be an expansion of conflict. So it can go one or the other way, right? And again, this is all just, again, potentials. Everything's a potential, and there's always a potential for the high and there's always a potential for the low. I want you guys to think about that as you are listening to this, that I mean, I have a defined G center and I'm also desire motivation. So I feel like when I'm in this and I'm telling you guys all these things, and I feel like that's why our podcast is really beginning to grow, because this is when I'm in my element. I'm in my little kitchen. I've gathered you all to my kitchen and we're sitting at the table and I'm telling you where we're going next. So that's kind of what's happening. So from a human design perspective with this also, it's asking us, can we come from during this transit a place of love? An inner love for ourselves, as well as the collective, to help us see where we need to take action. Where is your inner child during this time? Can you move through an internal childhood block, especially as we, again, entering the full moon? Can we move through a childhood block to help you take action towards your future? Aries is one of the quickest signs to manifest, as I've been saying. So expand upon during this time your love, and it will move you in ways you've never thought were possible. Okay. If you can stay in the love, stay in that G center. There's so much G center activity happening right now during this time, right? It's like if you can stay in that place of love and direction, like love is direction. Love will take you in a direction, right? That's why it's in the G center. So it's like, where's your love right now? And where is it moving you? Okay. So what's happening during this retrograde cycle with Mercury? Let's talk about that. So it's going to start May 10th and it's going to go to June 3rd. Okay. So, and it's happening in the signs of Gemini and Taurus. So keep that in mind. What are the themes of Gemini and Taurus? Well, Gemini is an air sign, and it's intellectualizing. It's got dual sides, right? It's you can see again, or what I'm kind of doing is I'm showing you there's two different sides of the coin, right? And then Taurus is saying, okay, how are we going to ground this shit? All right, how are we going to ground this? Taurus is an earth sign, and it's really about the material, dense material world. It's about our senses. It's about like, how can I just like embody all of the goodness, but it also can keep you stuck too, because it's also the bull, right? And sometimes the bull's stubborn. So that could come up too, of where are you allowing yourself to stay stuck right now? Okay. So where are you in your head with Gemini, and where are you allowing yourself to stay stuck where you're not meant to be? So this one will be really helpful. This is actually going to be a helpful one for a lot of us, because this will help you evaluate where you are going. Again, a lot of direction happening right now. This will be a great time to kind of look back as to where you were almost in 2021 with the sign of Gemini. Where were you this last year when Gemini was in the North Node? Okay. And what was coming up for you during that time? And where can I actually now go now that the nodes are now in the North nodes in Taurus? Where can you almost embody? Because I feel like Taurus is really about embodying themselves when they're really in their fullest. It's like, where can you embody this next version of you? Because who you were a year ago, I'm sure a lot of those parts of you have shifted and have mutated and have morphed. So it's like, where do you want to go into like more ease? Because Taurus is all about ease. Where do you want to be? I always like to use the reference of like being the bull that's like basking in the sun and just enjoying the sun hitting its back, and he's just grazing in the grass and just like enjoying what it means to be alive. Like I feel like that's like the real embodiment of Taurus. So it's like, how can you move to that? So we might be asking ourselves through our mind during this time, what is my truth? A lot of truth is going to be coming up for the next, I'd say 6 months. It's going to be pretty, like a lot of stuff is going to start coming out, especially with South Node Scorpio. This moon, this full moon's going to be hitting the South Node. So fuck is what I'm saying to myself. I'm like, fuck, what's going to happen with this? Because this is my South Node. So anyways, not about me. So your mind might be pulling you to like process this, all of the truths you have created for yourself through this year will then invite you. These truths are going to invite you to discover a new direction with how you want to express yourself now. Like we almost had like a rebirth. I feel like that happened with the new moon for all of us, right? It's like almost like when the eclipses happen, it's almost like timelines are changing, right? And I feel like we can all kind of feel things are really shifting collectively and individually right now. So our communication style through this entire week is based off our truth. So what do you know right now? That's the question you want to ask yourself this week is, what do I know? What do you know? Just simple. We make things way too complicated. What do you know? And what does my truth want to tell me right now? What's really coming up? And even if your truth is like you feel like it's coming from your not self, what is your not self trying to tell you? I know that not self is like, I look at the not self as like a distraction from your truth, but sometimes you have to go over to that side of you so you can see where the block is. So look at both ends of yourself, especially with Gemini, right? This is happening with the influence of Gemini. What is happening on both sides of you? What is happening in your true self and what is happening in your not self? Look at both areas of who you are and allow that not self to move you into the true self to like actually create movement, because that's where we actually create movement, is through the true self, right? It's embodying who we are so we can like actually follow the path to purpose. That's what it takes you. Once you embody who you are, it's taking you on the path to purpose. You don't find your purpose finds you. Okay. If you were to tell me 6 years ago, you're going to have a podcast and you're going to be telling people about direction in life and sharing like the wisdom from the cosmos, I would have laughed in your face. I would have told you you're a liar. I'm a hair and makeup artist. I'm not doing anything else. And that wasn't my true path. I bumped into all of this. I did not know that this was where I was actually going. But that's the thing, is your purpose, just like once you start living your design, you will be thrown on that path. It doesn't matter. This was always my path. I just didn't know it. So just noodle on all that. Anyways, moving on to Friday. What's going on? Friday, we get a quick splenic activity from the throat. That's again all about future. There's truth and future. That is the theme of this week, is truth and future. So this might be a day to or check in throughout the next week with this whole period that I'm about to tell you. But during this time, starting on Friday, is really asking us to almost envision. It's like our visions are going to start coming to us. Like you might get almost like glimpses of the future during this time, and also through the full moon. Like see what's coming up during this time, through the full moon, the week after. A lot of visions might be coming to you. They might have already started, to be honest, because again, we're in the void right now. So things are kind of shifting and morphing. So you might already be seeing things at the moment, especially I would say if you have the 57, or if you have any gates that could connect to the 57, that would you might be the first to know. I don't know. I feel like people that kind of are already consistently activated in them, that I imagine everybody that has the 57 just gets a lot of visions. That's our bridge gate is the 57. So I'll be curious to see. I mean, I feel like I've already been getting visions, but I'll be curious to see what happens after this full moon, because I feel like that's when more stuff is going to be revealed for everybody. So Sunday is going to be a very prosperous day, and also leading after that, like prosperity is a huge potential during this time starting on Sunday. So we're going to get a sacral surge that's going to be going through for a while. So hello to all the non-sacrals out there. You're going to get some juice. Okay. Getting a little juice. So this is on direction and prosperity, and we gain a new focus with simulating our expression of who we are. Okay. So what do you know, about what is actually good for you and what is not? Like, do you know a good way to actually express yourself that feels authentic? And there's going to be following this week, it's going to be about a foundation of being grounded in our humility. The following week, starting on Sunday, the Sunday is like leading into the next week, we get a new focus. So we're going to be being grounded in our humility. And again, everything I'm talking about for Sunday, we'll go into more detail next week. So just be prepared. So the question that lies is, what is for the following week? This is the end of this week, beginning of next. Ask yourself, what is actually fueling you? Because what fuels you is what drives you. And so we'll discuss more of that this week. That's what it's almost leading. The end of this week is leading into the beginning of next. And we'll go back over that again. So our new focus is going to be about assimilating our self-expression. And then we're being grounded in what actually fuels us. And that's the new focus of the following week. And I know I said a lot. I feel like I just said, and I was probably like, oh my God, what did you just say? Well, the good news is this is recorded, so you can go ahead and listen to that again. But anywho, Leah, tell us what's in the cards.
That was a lot of juiciness. I'm going to have to listen to it again as well, because I feel like it's always good to listen to it like the beginning of the week and then maybe like middle or end, just to see like what comes up. So, oh my God, half my deck is backwards. Stand by. How the heck? Okay. We do not need all of those cards. I will tell you that right now. Okay. All right. So let's see what comes out for this week. I feel like we should kind of focus somewhat on the Mercury and the Jupiter. So, I mean, we'll just see what happens. Whoa. Okay. There goes one. So the Nine of Swords, and this is what's keeping you up at night. And what is, there seems to be some sort of block. What is getting in the way? What did you say? What are your limiting beliefs? And how do you surrender to those? So surrendering to your limiting beliefs and allowing them to work themselves out. And I think this is also maybe about, do you have some worry or anxiety or fear of the future? Do you have fear of the past? Do you have some sort of fear that's keeping you up? There could be some chance of, you letting something go. So this is, if anybody needs a little bit of reassurance that, that you can let things go. I think limiting beliefs are something that we all have. So we're able to work through them individually at whatever pace that is for ourselves. Let's see. Maybe there's some clarity here with the Oracle deck. I am not having a great time shuffling. I'm just getting them everywhere. What is happening? Okay. Come on, cards. They're like, Mercury has nothing to do with technology. It has to do with you throwing the cards on the ground. All right. Here's a good card. It's called Play. It says play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. I feel like that's a fun card to take action on. So maybe if you are feeling worrisome or anxiety or down about something, a good way to relieve the anxiety, to relieve that pressure is to get out and play, get out and do something. So stop taking life so seriously. Your spirit needs to have some fun. The more you play, the more inspiration will follow. Take some time out to do something without being attached to the outcome. You're being called to rest and play, to learn, and to have more fun. Do something that makes you laugh, the best medicine around. Call a friend that you can be silly with. Take your inner child on a date. The more you switch off your mind, the more room your spirit has to whisper and guide. And I feel like that's so true. Our mind tries to guide us and tries to tell us where we're going, but that's not where we're going. When we do things without being attached to the outcome, ideas, clarity, guidance, and solutions have the space to drop in. The left and right hemispheres of the brain can begin to talk to each other. Make play a compulsory part of your day. Schedule it. Spend more time doing things just because you love to do them, just because they bring you joy and light you up. If you follow what lights you up, you will light up the world without even trying. For when you are lit up, you are in the spirit, and when you are in the spirit, you fall into the flow with life. So the questions you can ask yourself is, how do I play? What can I do to have more fun? And what lights me up? And remind yourself that if you've been working really hard lately, it's time to celebrate how far you've come and all of the things that you've achieved. Don't rush into the next thing. Take some time to throw a party, go on vacation, have some fun, and celebrate yourself. That's a very generator card again. But I do think it's so true. You guys teach us how to have joy.
That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, how to celebrate.
We fuel the planet. We are the fuel. We are like, and I feel like what is the center of all of that is joy, if we could just almost like allow it.
Allow it, for
That's
sure.
what the generator is supposed to do. They're supposed to allow it. They're supposed to surrender to it, right? There's a lot of the sacral is I feel like it's very passive. It's not here to initiate, I guess, unless you have that 20. If you have the 20 the 2034, then there's a little bit of a fuel to initiate, I guess, but not exactly. It still has to start through some sort of response. There has to be a response to move.
Yeah.
And that's what we teach you guys is like, how can you respond through pleasure? And like, what is actually satisfying? Because we don't, and I think that's because most generators are not truly satisfied. Most of them are very, 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 very frustrated. And I lived as a very frustrated generator for a very long time. And it's like, also when you start allowing yourself to be satisfied, because with generators, we believe we're not supposed to, we're just supposed to be constantly working, because we have all this energy. When I mean, some generators are like, I have no energy. And I'm like, that's because you're very heavily conditioned and you're like weighing yourself down right now. And it's about almost like removing the weights. And it's like when you can start saying no to things and allow yourself to say yes to anything that you love, just anything. I don't care what it is. If you want to have, this is about to get a little weird, but if you want to have like a rock collection, okay, like if you if you have a joy of rocks, I'm thinking of my sacral generator right now, my little Otis, my 2-year-old loves rocks, loves them. I don't know if it's because he's mountains or what, but like every rock is the most amazing rock that he's ever seen in his life. And I'm like, if I could look at life the way that my child looks at rocks, I would be in heaven. And it doesn't matter how mundane it is. It doesn't matter how trivial it is. It doesn't matter how weird it is. Like, I love human design. I fucking love it. And that's why you guys keep coming back, because I'm a generator and I fuel you to love it too. It's just what I do. And it's like when I can allow myself to love whatever it is, even if it's fucking weird, like human design is weird. It's fucking real. This is some weird ass shit. But I was lit up the moment that I heard that Kabbalah was in human design. I was like, what was that? Repeat yourself. Repeat. And then I'm like, oh my God, you're about to tell me how I can finally accept myself. Like that's
Yeah.
what the vessel of love is here to do. Vessel of love is truly here to accept themselves and love themselves at the fullest capacity. And so that's what human design gave me is acceptance. And that's what it shows you is just like how to walk the path to purpose. And my purpose is to accept myself. That's it. The simplest form. That's what the vessel of love is here to do. And so I'm going to stop talking because I know we're at the end here. I could talk forever. Leah, any last words before we stop?
No, I don't think so. There was so much juiciness coming this week, so just hang on.
Yeah. And Mercury, it comes around a few times a year. It's not a big deal. I feel like this one, because it's happening during the eclipses, might be a little bit of a bigger deal than usual. So I'm curious to see what will happen with that. But
Yeah.
just know that it's normal. It's a normal process that happens, and it's just here for reflection to unplug. Allow yourself to unplug this week. Maybe get off social media a little bit less. But I will say we'll probably be putting out some stuff on our social media on Mercury Retrograde if you want to go check it out. Please feel free to follow me at Journey Through HD. Leah is the splenic projector with a bunch of underscores. You can find her on mine. It'd probably be easier, or just type in the splenic projector and it'll show up, or go to the Human Design Astro Club and follow us over there as well. And, do all the things, and we will see you on the next one.
We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Crystal and I are really here as defined hearts to provide value to you with our unique insights. If you have found any of this episode valuable to you, we ask that you share with a friend, tag us with a highlight on Instagram, and write us a review so we can reach more people. Human design and astrology are tools to guide us toward our transformation. You are a unique and beautiful being, and we encourage you to let that light inside of you shine bright. See you in the next episode, friends.